Hey folks, thanks for watching the video. I'm going to show you through example one, and then you're going to start working on the homework. And I think it's going to correspond with the numbering in the book. I think it's going to be the first 9 problems. So there are 8 problems. When you start seeing some algebra, then I want you to come back and watch video 2. I'm going to go over example 2 and how to deal with the algebra for the next, 6 problems or so. So anyways, the first 8 are going to work like example 1. And before we get there, I want to show you a little resource that I think is kind of good. So I'm going to pull over McGraw-Hill, right? So we've talked a little bit about all the resources that you have. And in the presentation, like when you go to the course, you can click launch presentation or something like that in your screen. And this little activity pops up. You don't have to do this. I'm just saying, if this video doesn't make sense, then you can look at this little sketch. And this is a rectangle. They made it for us. You can see that the opposite sides, like, AB right here. Where's AB? AB is down here. And then CD. So CD is right up here. The opposite sides are congruent, 7.5, 7.5, 11.7, 11.7. That means it's a parallelogram, right? So we definitely know all the properties now of a parallelogram hold true, like the diagonals bisect each other, right? We know that's true in a parallelogram. We know that opposite angles are equal. And you might be saying, well, wait, it's a rectangle, Nelson. So of course, they're all 90 degrees. And that's really the definition of a rectangle, is that you have a parallelogram with 4 right angles. So a rectangle is a parallelogram with 4 right angles. From this definition, we get a whole bunch of other, we get the same properties that we had with a parallelogram, like opposite sides are parallel, opposite angles are congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary. That one kind of catches us off guard a little bit. The diagonals bisect each other. And there's one new one down here where it says, if you have a parallelogram that's a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. So that's what I wanted to look back at the sketch at. And I'm going to, show you that, hide the diagonals, show them, all that kind of stuff. Those are the diagonals, right? Let's measure the diagonals. Each one of the diagonals are congruent to each other. So it's 13.9, 13.9. And that would round to 14, right? And then this piece here is 7. This piece here is 7. So this rounding is kind of throwing us off a little bit. Maybe I'll adjust this a little bit to numbers that kind of work out. So the diagonals are 13, and then the pieces 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. So how are we going to use that in our homework today? Let me show you. You're going to copy just the drawing down. Why do I ask you to copy the drawing down? Well, I want you to mark it up. So I don't want you to copy a bunch of words down over here. I want you to take the information and put it onto the drawing. So BC, where's BC at? It's right here, is 94 feet. So the length of the court, usually I think in basketball we call that the length of the court, is 94 feet. You put a little tick mark up there. That means feet. And then 106.5 is FC. So from one corner to the opposite corner on the basketball court, from one vertex to the opposite vertex in the rectangle, it's 106.5 feet. So let me just put a big 106.5 feet. Okay. Now, if they asked us to find the width of the rectangle or the width of the basketball court, we could use Pythagorean theorem, but they're not asking for that. They're asking for DG. So I look right here and I say, okay, well, they want this piece right here. Did they tell us the length of the other diagonal? No, but right up here it says that the diagonals are congruent. Right here. The diagonals are congruent. Sorry, I'm not pointing to the right stuff quickly enough. And so we're going to say, well, the other diagonal has to be 106.5, right? And we know that because it's parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other. So I'm just going to take 106.5 and I'm going to divide it by 2. And what does that come out to be? 53.25, I think. All right, so that's what I expect you to do on the homework for like the first 8 problems. You just copy the little drawing down. I'm not copying the key on the basketball court. This thing right here is called the key. I'm not copying the 3-point line. I'm not copying the mid-center line with the jump circle and all that kind of stuff. Just put a rectangle down and then draw the diagonals in, okay? And then you take the information from the problem and you put it on your drawing. Hey, thanks for watching my first video. Good luck on the first 8 problems.